Let's go to Bill.
Let's go.
Bill, if you were to start your voiceover career over again, not from a standpoint of
cab
regret,
driver.
you would be. But
No,
is
you
there
wouldn't.
anything that you would do differently?
No.
No.
Yes, I would gossip less.
Gossip less.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, to me, gossip is really the history of the social cultural
Yeah.
reality in which we
Yeah,
live.
Mm-hmm.
And
Did it get you into trouble?
well, it did, because I went to an agent's boyfriend, and I said to my agent's boyfriend,
Your current
and I
agent's
said-
boyfriend?
No, no.
And I said, what's going on at this place? You know that blah, 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 blah. And I thought, because he was kind of a friend.
Yeah.
And I thought, this ain't got to go any further. It's, work, love, friendship, dude, come on, yo.
Brotherhood.
And there's a long pause, and he goes, man, I am like a paycheck away from, would you like cream in your coffee, sir? And I said, you are not. And he said, I don't know what you're complaining about, but I don't have the same complaints. And like 3 days later, I get a call from his girlfriend, the agent, who says, you're saying things about the agency. And I was ready to leave anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I was out the door. I was on my way out the door.
Yeah.
Contract was up in weeks, but I just wanted to get sort of some validation and, verification from friends.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that I would control.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
So-
a small town.
so-
it's a small business.
Yeah.
There's
And-
ears everywhere.
Yeah, and we still know that Bill has a problem with gossiping because he's doing it right now.
For the last
For the last
60 minutes.
For the last time.
And then she was all, and
Yeah.
I was all.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Why don't you share with us some of your current projects? Anything out there that we should know about?
Current projects.
Something coming up or
I'm on the
something that
Hyundai campaign, which has just been
Hyundai?
so fabulous. I've been off and on the Hyundai campaign for like 10 years. And then they hit a patch of unbelievable success.
Yeah.
Fueled by many things, including Toyota's problems and
Yeah.
and the fact they make good cars and they're not terribly expensive.
Do they give you one to
And,
drive? Or
I have 6.
You have 6 Hyundais?
No, they give me nothing.
They don't give you a
You
car?
know that the one thing I
Oh,
had to
here he
fight
goes.
for-
Gossip alert.
More gossip.
alert. I did a non-broadcast industrial for $389 for a doll company, the name of which I have blocked from my
Yeah, we
Yes.
don't
conscious
even want to
mind.
say
Just
what it is.
Right,
Don't-
if I knew it, I would tell
Don't
you.
trigger the trauma.
Yeah.
And I said about halfway through the session, and then like the creative director was there, and the company head of the
Yeah.
it was going to be a new Christmas release, big deal, nice doll, sort of high-end doll, like American Girl doll.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, my daughter is 7, and I'll finish the session if you guys will give me a doll. And of course we can. And the creative director stepped in and I'll get your information later. And I said, I'm serious, guys. I'll finish the session. My daughter, I told her I was doing
Yeah.
this. And they said, yes, you've got the doll.
They lie.
And I tried to collect.
She didn't get the dog.
And I became a Navy SEAL on
Yeah.
the telephone.
Those damn people at Mattel.
I got the doll. I had to go out. I had to go out to the valley and
Buy
get
one?
My doll. No.
Did
to
you
the-
like-
to
You
the-
had to go get it.
I had to go to the warehouse.
Did
Okay.
you do like ninja style? Did you go
By
in and get
force.
the doll?
Did you bring
or did
Snoop
you
Dogg with
get-
I forced them to tell me where the dolls were and to get me an appointment. And I went to the warehouse and I said, I'm here for my doll. That is the only perk I have ever.
Asked for.
Yeah.
And you had to work for it.
I worked for Mexicana Airlines doing their commercials for
Yeah.
like 3 years. So you must get a lot of tickets.
Nothing.
So
no Hyundai.
So no Hyundai.
Yeah,
No.
but that's a good Jeff Bridges, who's
Yeah.
such an exquisite voice, and does this casual thing. I'm sure out of his house, and I tag him, and now
Yeah.
suddenly I'm doing a bunch of.
Did
spots
Jeff
for
Bridges
him.
remember you
I didn't remind him.
from the incident?
Didn't remind
No?
him. Hey Jeff, remember that we talked about?
This is so super fun, Jeff. Remember when you complimented my voice and then I said... But that's nice. Look at that. Now you get to work with Jeff Bridges.
So and also
Yeah.
another really good thing happened.
What's that?
Well, documentary Discovery, History.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do a
yeah.
bunch of those things.
I know you do.
And
I
Peter
hear you all the
Coyote
time.
is like my role model, And a friend of mine, we were in a bar at a storytelling thing, and she goes, "I just met this producer who does a ton of stuff for Discovery. You have to meet him." And I went, "Fine. Hi, how you doing?" His first and only words to me was, "Hi, I only use Peter Coyote." Oh, well, it's a very talented fella. I got a call from my agent last year with this apologetic tone. We had this audition, and I said, "Okay," and they wanted younger narrators, and I said, "Well, but they didn't like any of them." And I said, "Well, maybe they all got sent to the principal's office." And she said, no, they want to hear you on it. And I thought, well, this is interesting. And it was Behind Mansion Walls.
Yes.
And it's, rich people murdering rich people.
Yeah.
And they want, the television programmer wants 18 to 36 demo watching their show.
Yeah.
So let's get an announcer who's 39, 38.
Yeah. Yeah.
I showed them.
You showed them.
So there's something about, I don't think it's so much the quality of the voice as it is just the sense of experience of what it is like to murder rich people, which of course,
Yeah.
I've done.
Well, you've done
Yeah,
so many
well,
times.
we all
I'm a
have
parole officer
lots
with a
of
test.
experience with that.
Yeah. But disaster, I'm doing.
You do a lot of the disaster
serial
stuff.
killer Earth,
He's great with disasters.
air disasters. Literally,
I
that's
mean,
it.
for
disasters,
Discovery
yeah.
and for History Channel, you do all those shows that disturb me, frankly.
Right,
she
yeah,
can't
That
watch
gives me
it. It has
nightmares, but I like,
I love
just
them.
fast forward to the Bill part. It's like, oh, la, I can't watch. But yeah, they're disturbing, Bill.
I want to apologize, Stacy, all the way to the bank. I'm sorry. So disaster. I mean,
Yeah.
it's funny in movie trailers. It's comedy. On television, documentary narration, it's disaster.
Yeah.
And that's what I actually my one man show was about. That last year. Why is it? What is it in me that resonates with disaster?
Yeah, you're a very good disaster narrator.
You have a
you.
very good disastrous kind of sounding voice.
Well, I mean, the other. What's the other one? Wonderful. I almost got away with it. And this is about people who are on the lam.
Yeah.
For years,
Yeah.
men and women. I mean,
Yeah,
these
yeah.
are characters.
Yeah, I've seen that show a gazillion times.
And it's a lot of low
Like the people that hide in Alaska.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Or Encino, maybe.
Or Encino.
Tarzana.
Yeah.
Yeah, not good.
And in shows like this, obviously, in criminal elements and so on, there's a lot of trailer trash and so on.
Yeah.
I identify with these people, and there'll be a moment where you're detailing somebody's horrors,
Yeah,
the
the
horrors of their daily
carnage,
life.
yeah.
I found myself in these sessions. Thank God I'm not in the studio with people who are actually there, but I'm on the phone or
Yeah.
the ISDN.
Yeah.
I'll cry over this stuff, and I'm going, Bill. And I'll say to myself, no, you're making money. This is good. These are tears of joy.
Tears
and
of
this is
joy.
why you're making money
You're
at it.
crying
because
to the bank. You're
you
crying
can
all
cry.
over the
Because
bank.
you can cry.
For these people.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and for
Yeah.
the audience.
Yeah.
That's a real actor right there,
Yeah,
ladies and
yeah.
gentlemen.
You have a
That's
good
so cool,
conscience.
man.
You're
A good
such
heart.
a good integrity over there.
Yes.
Wow. Very cool. That's so cool. So you have, okay, so you're with Atlas in New York, right? You're with Atlas here in Los
Yes.
Angeles. You also have a manager, right? Paul Whitner.
The fabulous Paul Ratner.
Yes.
Exactly. So
Okay.
I want to know, and probably a lot of people out there might want to know too, is like, what's the difference between Paul and your voiceover agents, and do they work together or what?
Yeah, they do work together. I mean, it's a lot. It's sort of parallel worlds to the theatrical world.
Okay.
An actor will have an agent and a manager, and the manager has a smaller group of talents, and they're more aggressive, and they're hunting down work and so on. The agent has a much larger stable.
Right.
And I mean, they're really like 12, 15 guys at Whitner in my area.
Right.
Whereas, in Atlas, the voiceover, there's 120 guys. And
Just in one department.
yeah,
No.
Yeah.
cleaning furniture.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a huge place.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, Atlas is unique in that they are just wonderfully ambitious, aggressive,
Yeah.
brilliant. I mean, and I say this, I've had not a lot of agents. I was with my first agent for 8 years, then 16 years, then 12 years. So I stick around.
Yeah.
But I'm lucky in that respect.
Well, they've
But
come out to LA. I mean, and they opened the
Just
office out
recently.
here.
Yeah.
And
I used to have an LA. It was a CESD for 12 years.
Yeah.
Here, Atlas, New York. But the minute Atlas opened an office out here, and I
Yeah.
felt it, I went, I'd like to see what they would do.
Good for you.
They're great. But the manager, and there are not that many of them. There are a few around the country. I think there are
Exactly.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
There's Debbie Cope here. There's Paul Whitner here. There's
Jason
Jason
Marks.
Marks in New York, who also represents talents out here.
Right.
There's another fellow who does a lot of radio stuff through CESD in New York. I've never known him. And a few others
Yeah.
who are talent managers.
Right.
They collect a larger percentage. They collect 15%. They make whatever deal they want. They're not
Yeah.
regulated by the unions.
Exactly.
They can
Right.
say, so for a $12,000 signing fee, which is done, I mean, or
Sure.
$1,000, hey, gimme, or a monthly retainer, I
Yeah.
mean, in my case, it's all been more than worth it. But caveat emptor, as the Romans used to say.
Yes.
Very cool. Well, clarified.
So you do a lot of affiliate work. You're in Charlotte and New York, and you're all over the country. Network affiliates. Can you, again, for people who maybe are not completely clear, what is the difference between the network promo and the network affiliate work?
Well, the network jobs are, like Dorian Harewood has and Joe Cipriano has, and so on. There's really only a few of those gigs. There's ABC, CBS, NBC, CW, and each have a few voices. So there's 16, 20, 25 men and women who do the network jobs. But each network has, 150 or so affiliates around the country. 12 O&Os. 12 stations owned by ABC and 12 by NBC,
Yeah.
and 138 more that are
the different
affiliated with the network.
markets. Yeah.
And each one of those stations requires a voice to promote their stuff. And I remember getting a copy from network affiliates through my agent years ago and doing a weather campaign or doing a specialty thing.
Yeah.
Something here and there, probably because a big network voice was with the talent agency, and so they'd go, well, do you have other guys? We have a specialty thing. And then I was at KCBS with a couple of other announcers doing their daily news promos tonight. And
Tomorrow.
I had a job when Don LaFontaine, he had taken off in his limo, and they couldn't get him back. And they said, can you do Don? Can you do Don? And I said,
Of course I could do Don.
yeah, no problem.
you can't. Yeah.
And they handed me, with the KCBS logo and everything on it, in the middle of the copy, the one word, tonight.
Oh.
Tonight. And I did it, in all those ways.
Yeah.
And I heard the spot that night on Channel 2
Yeah.
with Don's voice, the LAPD, and blah, 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 blah. Tonight. That was me. But affiliate work is interesting. I mean, you have to... one agent in town said, I don't understand why you're not available to me 12 hours a day. And I said, because I do affiliates. I do Channel 7 here. And he goes, I don't understand. We got a call from KNBC, and they wanted to pay $90,000 for 3 sessions a day. And I said, no. And I said, oh, that's nice. That's interesting. What talent on whose behalf did you say no for?
Yeah.
And I'm one of those guys who doesn't mind being tied to my studio. I'm happy
Yeah.
to be
Well,
in
it
my
keeps
studio.
you out of trouble.
Yeah, because you're working in so many different time zones. So certain affiliates, if they're on the East Coast time or Central time, I mean, you have to get their spots and tags and everything into.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in my studio with 2-hour breaks. I have 3 2-hour breaks built into my time. So I work essentially like a 5-hour day over 10 hours, literally. And sometimes I fill in that time with Pilates or auditions.
PS3.
Or,
Practicing your golf
There
putting.
you go.
Messing with his iPad,
Right, exactly.
trying to get it to record.
But it's a good gig, and they are all they're not independent, and they're all part of station groups.
Right.
Yeah.
Some owned by a nice Southern gentleman who owns 8 other stations. Some by the ABC, some larger. But it's work. It's
Yeah.
work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so affiliate promo is its own weird animal. So
Yes.
tell us about it.
Affiliate promo and news promo.
And news
MSNBC, CNBC, CNN. There's a ton. I mean, the news wars are on. So there's so many outlets and platforms that require sort of news promo read.
Yeah.
And Bo Weaver.
Can you give us an example of something?
Well, I got a call from Bo Weaver. This is years ago.
Yeah.
And he was on KNBC. He had just gotten the KNBC gig.
Yeah.
and he sounds great on everything. And but he had of course he pioneered the affiliate promo business years ago in Denver in the 70s.
Yeah.
But he had been on Fox, and then he was on the NBC affiliate here, and he called me up just to chat because I'm doing the ABC affiliate. He was doing NBC. He said, you really sound great on Channel 7. And I said, well, you're absolutely right, I do. Because I have the perfect combination of hysteria, a penchant for gossip,
Big one.
an unctuous sincerity, and the ability to sort of turn on a dime, all combined into news promo tonight. The terror, the horror, the fun, the happiness tonight. And there's so much work in news promo, not just affiliates.
Yeah.
Right.
But network news programs,
Right.
a lot of that is in New York.
Yeah.
But cable news is huge. And MSNBC hires all these voices, CNBC, CNN, and more and on, and more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
And that kind of read is one that people should learn, should study, should listen to.
What do you call that read? You just
It's really the news promo read.
news promo
Well, because
read.
on your website, BillRatner.com, you have your promos, you have your news promo, you have your affiliates, you have so many different demos.
Yeah.
Right.
And so you recommend you need to have those because there are subtle differences between.
Demos. I'm glad that you guys brought up demos, and everybody should be glad because that's the key. That's the key.
Yes.
And I mean, as you know, people will have a brand new commercial demo, and they'll send it to every agent in Los Angeles or Chicago or New York or wherever they are, and they won't hear anything.
Right.
And it's because they and 50,000 other people. And the agent is saying, look, you may have a nice commercial demo, but if you can't tell me through your demos that you do news promo, trailers, non-broadcast narration, documentary narration, animation, radio imaging,
Video games.
The whole package.
Yeah.
video games with more realistic sort of animated type
Exactly.
voices, then I can't sell you. I'm not going to make any money. 30 years ago, the vast percentage of an agent's income was from commercials only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These days, it's from everything.
Right.
And so you have to have demos. You have to have tracks on your demo for as many areas as you feel it can do. And I teach a class at SAG-AFTRA, volunteer,
Yeah.
at the Don LaFontaine Lab.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's the only
And
place I
we're going to
like
get
to
into that in a little
Yeah.
bit, but
Right.
but
And somebody said, well, but we're really supposed to specialize. We're supposed to brand ourselves. And I thought, aha, they've been listening to those voiceover teachers. At which, and I've heard this from so many people, Brand, you need to brand yourself. You need to know who you are. Do one thing and do it really well.
yeah.
I say do 10 things. I say do news promo, try trailers, do it all, try it all. Now, do I get book jobs like Scott Brick and Pat Fraley? No.
Yeah.
Do I get? Do I have the versatility of a Pat Fraley or any of the other marvelous animation people? No.
Bob Bergen, Rob Paulson.
Exactly. Thank you.
There you go.
Exactly.
Billy West.
No. So I don't get
Yeah.
that kind of. I don't get that much
Yeah.
of that work. But I'm still available for it, and I have it on my demo, and the few characters that I do.
But I mean, Flint, you reprised on Family Guy and Robot Chicken.
Right. Yeah.
He came back. So.
And that sort of generic character,
Yeah.
Flint, that sort of that guy. This is serious.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a lot of that stuff, and
Yeah.
he's sort of like a television announcer. He's sort of like a football announcer. He's sort of like the guy who sells beer.
Yeah.
So your demos have to say that you do a lot of different stuff,
Yeah.
and you may be
Yeah.
you're the same person, but
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And
Yeah.
if you guys out there want to hear exactly what he's talking about, then go to BillRatner.com and listen to all his demos. Because I was listening to your demos
I
last
know.
night.
I always check down. I'm like, okay, here's our guest, and I always give him, I'm like, here's the kernels, and so we listen through all of them, and Chuck, this is what
and
he does.
I was
He's a
listening to
demo
all this
guy
stuff,
for a
and I'm
living.
like, you know
and
what?
So,
He has himself represented really well on all those different demos that you have.
that's the obsessive compulsive gene.
But
And
they don't sound like crap.
Thank you. No, I mean, I work on it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's the other thing in this business when you get a little older and you're doing well in it. People say, well, you don't have to audition or anything. Hello,
Yeah.
I audition
You do.
every single day. If I for 1 second believed or thought, they know who I am. I don't need to audition.
Forget
So
about
you
it.
can't, I mean,
Yeah.
ego stuff. But I discovered something very interesting, thing called Voice Zam.
Voice Zam.
This guy back in the Midwest has developed this thing that you buy it monthly and you can put it, it's going to be on my website soon, where when you click on a category of my demo, his little box comes up and it says commercial demo at the top, and then you'll see the 6 or 8 elements that are in that demo. If it's trailer demo, boom, the 6 or 8 elements that are in that demo, and so that the buyer can click.
Go
pick and
right to the
choose what
specific
spot.
spot.
I don't want to hear Will Ferrell. I want to hear a documentary.
I see.
But I'm ashamed. I haven't really updated my demos in a year, and I'm about to, because I just bought Voice Zam and I'm being charged for
now
it.
people are.
Well, we were
going to
ask you how you. I mean, I'm so glad that you said what you said about that. You don't just fall back and rest on your laurels. How do you stay current with the trends in promo and narration and trailers?
I go on
What do you do?
voicebank.net, and do you guys have demos on your site?
Well, I
voiceover demos?
produce
On his
demos that rock.
Demos
I
That
do have
Rock,
a
yeah.
ton. I have everything from trailers to animation.
Well, I would
all
go
that
on.
stuff.
What's your site?
It's demosthatrock.com.
Demos That Rock.
Demos that rock.
I would go on demosthatrock.com. Do I get a free Apple?
You get a free
Yeah.
app.
Okay, thank you.
are
And
real.
voicebank.net,
Absolutely.
of course,
Exactly.
that hosts all working voiceover actors and
Yeah.
more. And I still do. I mean, I listen to Hal, the great Hal Douglas.
Yeah.
Who's probably 80 years old
Yeah.
now. I'm very young, of course.
Of
I'm
course.
much older. And
Happy 21st birthday, by the way.
Yeah.
thank you so much. And I listen to Hal Douglas.
Yeah.
In a world when time traveled and people knew that apples were free. And I listen to him. If I'm ever beat out of a job by somebody I don't know, I listen to him or her. And I listen to demos on voicebank.net the same way I listen to commercials on TV.
Yeah.
I don't watch much television. I feel that it pollutes my mind.
Yeah.
But when I do watch, with my kids or whatever, True Blood.
Shocking that you like True Blood.
Yeah,
Next
really.
on
It's an
HBO.
upbeat. It's an upbeat.
Do you
death
narrate
show.
it as they're like, yeah.
And then she, when I watch a commercial, I'll do this. Ford Motor Company. I said, blah, blah, blah. I will imitate like a music,
Yeah.
every great musician. I mean, as you know, man.
Yeah.
I
know
tell
I do
people
that,
that all the time.
too. Because
Yeah.
I'm getting in the promo announcing world, and so I do that. It's great. I mean, it's free.
I mean, literally phrasing,
free
I mean,
studying.
exactly the way a rock and roller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you probably did when you were 12 years
Yes.
old. You're listening to it over and over and over, and you're
Learning
screwing up
all
your
the
records,
licks.
and you
Yeah,
go back,
exactly.
go back, like,
Go back, learn. How did you do that?
It's like 6 seconds. Oh, shoot. That's exactly what I do with voiceover. And then the time they played. And then the time they play. Over
Yep.
and over. I still do it.
I know.
And
That's great.
I tell this to students at SAG-AFTRA, and I tell this to my friends. And I don't know if people do it. Some people do.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. If
Yeah.
you do that, you will
So
become
good.
great.
Because it's about. Has anybody ever been in the Louvre in Paris?
I've actually
Where,
have.
you know,
Yes.
Yes.
And you've
Oui.
seen what's been going on there for 300 years, where art students are sitting there with their canvases,
Yeah,
painting,
painting.
Yeah.
the Black Watch or
Yeah.
the famous paintings. It's the same deal.
Yeah.
And
That was actually a tip.
Yeah, we
that
did
was
that.
a great tip.
Yeah.
Brilliant. You're a brilliant man.
thank you.
Yes.
Let's talk about the Don LaFontaine Voiceover Lab. You're on the advisory
Exactly.
board, and you
Yes.
volunteer and do workshops over there.
The Don LaFontaine Voiceover Lab is an unbelievable qualitative leap forward in opportunity for voiceover people, union or non-union.
Yeah.
And it's an exquisite state-of-the-art recording facility in the Screen Actors Guild Foundation.
Yeah. Which is beautiful.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you just
yeah.
go
Beautiful.
sagfoundation.org, and you can book time in the lab, which is far below commercial rates in voiceover studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And top grade engineers who want to be there, who work part-time.
Yeah.
And you can do demos, you can do all kinds of things. And they have classes, fabulous classes. And
What made you want to get involved with?
Well,
that?
I mean, I wasn't there were a bunch of us who were sort of acolytes of Don and who were friends of Don. Not
But I mean,
dear.
Paul Pape, Joe Cipriano, they approached you about it. Yes?
We before that, when Don died, and we all were involved in his memorial service and were friends of Nita and had been in their home and so on. What we sort of collectively. Paul Pape and Joe Cipriano were the spearheads of this. But we all said, well, what do we want to do for Don? What to memorialize Don? And Nita, his wife, who's very active and a brilliant singer and active in the business,
Yeah, she
said,
is.
so let's do something. What do we do? And the Screen Actors Guild Foundation said, sure, yeah, you can do a studio here. And so we raised money, and they put in a little money in their space, and now this unbelievable facility is there. If it had been there when I was coming up in voiceover,
You would have
I'd
used
be
the heck out of it.
all over that place.
Yeah.
I mean, and a bunch of us are on the advisory board, and we all teach there, volunteer, and so it's just a
So
fabulous place.
what? Let me ask you seriously. Why do you do that?
I don't teach or do voiceover demos because I do voiceovers. That's my thing. And I don't... in a few years, you're probably going to get a call from me. Call 1-800-BILL Ratner now for my new DVD. But I love to teach. I mean, I've guested in people's workshops and so on, and I really love to think about voiceovers, and I love to obviously theorize about it. And it's a weird art, and but doing in the setting of that lab is so cool.
Yeah.
But even more, doing it in the context of SAG and AFTRA, which are our unions.
Yeah.
And the unions have made it possible for all of us to make money and kept the bar up. There are a lot of forces out there, such as on the internet and relationships, non-union relationships, and casting and so on, that are bringing the bar down. That's bad for everybody.
Yeah.
People who want to work in voiceover don't want to work for $16 an hour.
No.
And especially young people and new people. And it's a big conundrum. Do I do non-union? What do I do? Well, I think, rest easy that virtually everybody in this business, large and small, probably did non-union work when they were coming up.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you want to keep the bar up.
Yeah.
And if you don't keep the bar up, the bar will continue to drop, and it'll be like farm work.
Yeah.
And or like anything else
Yeah.
that where people figure out a way around paying well.
Yeah.
If you have a large labor pool, you pay less.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And and the good news is the rates, even in the unorganized world, even in the non-union world, the rates are up.
Yeah.
FedEx has to pay its drivers and packers well in order to keep the Teamsters out.
Yeah.
They have to pay them almost comparable to what they get at UPS.
Yeah.
Right.
So the unions have done that. They've done us a favor.
Yeah.
They've given us minimums that are reasonable and that we can work for, and so I'm paying them back.
There you go. Well said.
Yeah.
Right? He's
Yeah.
paying him back.
Bill,
Uh-oh.
we have a little
You're in trouble,
thing
Bill.
we do here on VO Best Weekly. You pick a number between 5 and 129, and I ask you a question from my little red book.
The mushrooms are wearing off now. So suddenly your voice was like going like this, Stacy. But 3,412? No. Okay. 89.
89!
Good number.
Okay, good. Now pick a number between 1 and 4.
3.
3. Everyone always picks
That's
3.
very interesting.
It's a primary number.
Okay. If you could find the personal diary of one person from history with all the juicy details, who would you want to find?
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Why?
Because he was in on incredible stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, from the Nazis to the Great Depression.
Yeah.
To that unbelievable cigarette holder he had.
Yeah.
To recreating the world, World War II. the WPA, the Works Project Administration, that put theater people to work, put artists to work, put musicians to work, put Woody Guthrie to work on the radio in New York City. I mean, I would, and also he had all these affairs and stuff, you know. I mean, I'd like to read it all.
Again with the investigative, smutty gossip, Bill.
I was just going to say, that is the perfect question
You
to
should be
ask
on
Bill.
a soap opera.
And that was the perfect answer to that
perfect.
question. You're crazy, man. I got to tell you, man, when you're not out there blasting away, working hard, I mean, I know that you don't leave your house a lot, but when you're not working and you're just off time, what do you like doing in your free time?
My lovely wife and I have been married to her for 26 years.
26 years.
Congratulations.
Of just like power hugging.
Power
Nice.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
Love
want to get
it.
dirty.
Yeah. No, power hugging is good.
Yeah. She worked in the film industry. She was an IA set decorator. And did a little art directing, but mainly set decorator. And even the set decorators can win Oscars. The art director and the set decorator go up, and she had to do coverage on scripts and had to, you know, they'd hand her the script. What do you think? What do we do?
Yeah.
And a lot of TV movies in the 80s and 90s. And so she loves movies. And we go to double features all the time.
I love that.
Weird
cool.
stuff. I mean, we saw, you know, Ben Affleck's Argo last night. It was
Yeah.
great. But Friday night, we were at the American Cinematheque, the old Egyptian theater on Hollywood,
Love that place.
seeing two Spanish thrillers.
In Spanish thrillers?
Yeah. Contemporary one was very dark about Franco's Spain, and the other was this
You
cop
speak Spanish?
thing. I sort of un poquito
No, but there's,
sí,
but
understand
there's
it.
death
Yeah.
and bludgeoning, so that's all he needs, the
But I
imagery.
mean, it's like the high of the low,
Yeah.
you know. And I mean, so we go to movies. We go to movies all the time.
Yeah.
There
great.
was,
What's your
I think-
favorite movie treat? Do you have movie treats? Do you do popcorn or
you know, I've just
Hot
gone off
tamales
sugar,
or-
Stacy.
you did?
And I'm
So I
fine.
shouldn't
He's
talk
dangerous.
about
No
Mike and
wonder.
Ike's and Junior Mints and hot
Junior
tamales.
Mints. This is really sad. But we'll do a little popcorn, no butter.
Yeah, good.
And then because my wife gets really mad at me if I eat sweets in the movie,
Yeah.
the other night,
Did you bring some? You
don't
hated
listen, honey, took a box of shivers, a box of Junior Mints,
Oh my
Junior
God.
popped the top, and I was so embarrassed that I got out of the light of the counter, went into a dark corner so no one would see me, poured them in to the pocket of my vest, knowing that she was sitting on the right side, and I would do this. She was looking at the screen. As she would dig for popcorn, I would reach in and have like 6 Junior Mints and cover them in popcorn and do this.
Oh my gosh,
And then I
you
thought,
needed an
You
intervention.
did not.
I did, yes, I did.
This is-
And one time I did this
my-
with Reese's Pieces. She smelled the peanut
Oh
butter.
yeah, and they're
You
crunchy
have
too.
to.
The Junior Mint is, well, the mint, but still.
Mint is soft and minty, but I thought she
That
had to
is
smell the mint.
hilarious.
She didn't. But now that I'm off sugar,
You're off
no,
sugar?
those are my favorite treats would be Reese's Pieces, you know, M&M
Yeah,
peanuts.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not paid by the M&M
That
Corporation.
is
They-
crazy.
you didn't have to go in and get
I can't even
some
believe that you actually told us
Oh, that's
that.
hysterical.
Yeah,
We're going to make sure your
She's
wife
going to
sees
have
this.
to walk out of the room during that
Yeah, it's
portion.
going to be great.
But other than that, you have no other secrets. That's a secret to your long marriage is
is constant sex in movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
well, you could argue that you had the Junior Mint, so your breath would be fresh.
yes, that's right.
That's why
right.
you
One
did it.
thing leads to another.
Exactly.
And travel,
Mm-hmm.
a little romantic travel. Nothing terribly luxurious, no 5-star hotels. What else? Eating out in our lovely neighborhood.
North Hollywood, right?
We live in Bel Air. No, we don't. I'm not telling you where I live. Let's see, and just weird stuff. Like I go downtown a lot,
Yeah.
and there's go to MoCA, go to the museums. We went to Who Shot Rock and Roll, the photo exhibition at the Annenberg in Century
Yeah,
City.
we've heard
Yeah.
that's pretty
Go
amazing.
see,
Yeah.
There's a great book out, unbelievable. All these old,
Yeah.
drugged out, fabulous photographers who shot, everything from the
Yeah.
Rolling Stones to everybody.
Yeah.
And, oh,
Yeah.
That's
great.
cool.
Yeah, that.
So I'm going to ask you if you could talk to your 20-year-old self and give him advice, knowing what
Bill?
you know now. What would you say?
You're gonna have a great time, buddy. Good job. You got good bones. That's really funny that you would ask that, because I actually
'Cause you're
think
20?
like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
you do.
I am 20
Yeah.
times.
Well, you have a very young spirit. So what would you get?
Well, I mean,
say
I
to your-
actually have had that thought
Huh.
of if I were 12, looking at me, what would I think?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I'd think, oh, great, good, wow,
Good for you.
thanks, Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on, man.
Love that.
How cool is that? Dude, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you,
We
Chuck,
really,
really
Stacy. You guys are the
much.
coolest people I've met in like
10 minutes.
days.
Well, that's because he doesn't leave his house much, but we are pretty cool.
We are more fun than your Pro Tools.
So we're going
We
to
do
take
talk
that.
about it.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks
Thank
for
you so
coming
much,
on the show.
and
This is
thank
great.
you for you are our last guest of our first year of VO Buzz Weekly. So
You guys are
we
so
couldn't
good.
have finished a better way.
I mean, I've been doing people's podcasts, and it'll be like, Steve, you still on? Click, click, click. But you guys are, like Oprah and Johnny Carson, like to the nth
Oprah and
degree.
Johnny Carson. I love that. I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, we'll just let you figure out who's who.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am so drunk right now, drunk on love. I have had the funnest time of my life on VO Buzz Weekly with Chuck and Stacy. Wow. They just went out to sell one of their Bentleys. So I'm here to tell you, this is the coolest show in the world. These guys are so nice. They're like Oprah and Johnny Carson, like melded together, only cooler. So stay tuned.
Well, that concludes part 2 with Bill Ratner and our last episode of 2012.
Absolutely, very exciting.
Yes!
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, and we wish you guys a very, very happy holidays. And don't forget, you always have time for a little buzz.